and welcome to Health Matters on Channels Television. I am Mary Alale Yusuf. It's always great to be with you. Sleep hygiene is the management of behavioral and environmental factors leading up to sleep and those that may interfere with sleep. It is the practice of trying to secure more restful, effective sleep, which can enhance or promote daytime wakefulness and help treat or prevent specific kinds of sleep disorders. Difficulty getting to sleep and daytime drowsiness can be signs of poor sleep hygiene or habits. Today we examine principles of sleep hygiene and related factors with Dr. Akinjobi Obafemi, a sleep medicine physician with the Marvina Sleep Center in Lagos. You're welcome to the program, Dr.
Thank you very
Obafemi.
much. So it's a privilege.
Now, apart from rest, what does sleep do for us?
Oh, sleep is an essential part of the living being. Every living thing has to sleep. Everything. Part of the characteristics of life is that you produce both for good, and you also produce waste. You need to rest, to regenerate, to regain lost strength. So basically, sleep is a requirement for every living organism.
Okay, so on the average, let's take a child first of all. How many hours of sleep would a child require?
Okay, well, for a child, usually it ranges, we say between 16 to 18 hours. Now
16 to 18 hours of sleep?
Let's take it slowly. Now, when a child is born, usually they sleep for most part of the day,
Yes.
or most part of the time, but it's broken into various stages and components. But the child begins to grow older, it begins to reduce. So usually the neonatal age, the first 1 year of life, very high sleep requirements. In fact, they tend to have a lot of daytime naps, apart from the long sleep they have at night. But when you have, we're now going to the teenagers, we're going to 9, 10, 11. Now they're going to need 9 to 10 hours of sleep. Now you should realize that...
Even as a teenager?
Yes, 9 to 10 hours of sleep. But you should realize that sleep is actually an individualistic requirement.
Okay.
We have some that are born with short sleep requirements. Some are born with long sleep requirements.
So it's tailored to the particular person.
So I can only give an average. Therefore, the adult, 6 to 8 hours of sleep, which most Nigerians don't get.
Even 6 to 8 hours is unattainable, huh? Anyway, you spoke with me some time back about stages of sleep.
Yes, I did.
Can you quickly take us through the stages?
Okay, well, yeah. Sleep is divided into 2 stages. It's called the NREM sleep and REM sleep. NREM means non-rapid eye movement. REM is rapid eye movement.
Which is the deep sleep?
I always say, people ask, which is deep sleep? It's difficult to say. Now, sleep is, every part of that sleep is necessary. But if I'm trying to explain to the lay people, we said now, in the NREM stage of sleep, we now have 4, it's divided into 4 different stages. So we can state the stage 3 and the stage 4 there is the sleep. In our research cycle, we call it the slow wave sleep.
Slow wave sleep, yes.
So,
okay. So that means now that we have in non-rapid eye movement 4 stages.
Yes.
Then you have a 5th stage, which is the rapid eye movement sleep.
Yes.
Okay, so we're getting it. Now, how does a person know he or she has had enough sleep? How do I determine by myself?
Okay.
I've slept enough.
Okay, majorly sleep is more of psychological satisfaction, and of course biology satisfaction. When you wake up, some requirements are you feel refreshed, you feel ready to jump out of the bed and run for the day. You are alert, you're mentally alert. You find that most offices want to run very early.
Okay.
You are mentally alert. You can run, you can do an activity, something you know in 3 hours, you can do it in 1 hour during the day. So you are refreshed. That's the basic thing.
So I gather from what you're saying that if a person doesn't have enough sleep, then the person is slower.
Yes, yes. We slow. Research has proved this fact. Cognitive slowness, functional slowness, it really comes into play when there's not enough sleep.
Okay. So what does one have to do to get good sleep?
Interesting. A lot, but basic thing is sleep hygiene, sleep education, knowing what it is, how to sleep.
I mentioned sleep hygiene to somebody, and the person said, what does that mean? Do I have to take a bath before going to bed? What's that about? I should sweep the house or what?
Okay.
So let's get a feel of what it actually means.
Oh, well, sleep hygiene is a set of behaviors and activities you do that encourage and enable you to have a good night's sleep.
Okay.
In basic, simple
Basically, that's it. Okay.
terms.
Now let's just, break it down a little bit so that it can be more understandable to the viewers.
Okay.
If I want to go to bed at night, okay, do I need to restrict my water intake or fluid intake?
Okay.
Would that be part of sleep hygiene?
Okay. Now that can be answered in various ways. Number one, you should realize that sleep patterns, they are customized, they are individualistic for each person. So it now depends on the symptoms or kind of sleep, the kind of sleep you get to enjoy at night. That determines what you do. Now, if you're not having any problem with sleep, especially insomnia, we don't talk too much. Don't restrict your fluid intake. We don't talk about that because some they need to sleep. They need to drink a lot of water at night. Mind you, Nigeria is a tropical environment. A lot of us sweat at night.
Okay, so you need to hydrate yourself.
Exactly.
But there's always the chance that you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to go to the loo.
Well, it doesn't disturb everybody. Waking up at night to go urinate, it doesn't disturb everybody.
So the sleep is not disturbed?
Yes, some. But it's when it begins to disturb you, then the doctor will talk to you about your fluid intake.
Okay. Now, are there some things, because, we were not on camera when we were saying this,
Okay.
but you did mention that, there are some stages of sleep where sleep is really, really deep.
Okay.
Now, in the event that somebody is not having enough of that deep sleep to refresh him, are there things that the person can do to sort of prolong or stretch out that deep sleep stage?
Okay. As I said, sleep is divided into stages, and each component is actually very necessary. Now, some people tell you that when they see somebody, okay, is asleep and is jumping, and they say he's really deep asleep. That could be the REM stage sleep.
Okay.
Some will interpret as being deep. Some will say, so really, I can't even see when you're in the fourth or maybe the third, fourth, or fifth stage of sleep. I can't see it until maybe you're under a thirst. So really, the point is, we want you to have a balanced type of sleep, not having one over the other. Remember, it's a cycle that goes on throughout the night.
Okay.
You have up to 4 to 6 cycles in the night. So really, you're just having a balanced sleep cycle.
Okay, so what happens to people who have shift work, for example?
Okay.
They work in the morning today, tomorrow it's the afternoon, the day after it's night. How do they cope? Well,
I will tell you that in fact, that is just one of the examples of what causes insomnia in people. Really now, it requires a lot of education, and the person needs to understand himself how to cope with such things. It depends on the kind of work. If the person comes to me as a physician, I need to understand his work schedule. I need to educate him on how to help himself, how to adjust to his work to help enable his. But some can't just even adjust to the shift work. It disrupts their sleep totally.
Okay, so such people have to actually be taking off shift work.
It's better off because in the long run there may be accidents or there may be production problems. In fact, everything will just be subpar if they cannot cope with such situations.
Okay, but that doesn't apply to everybody.
No, it doesn't apply to everybody.
Okay, another thing I want to ask you is, how would you recommend that somebody get off jet lag? There's this problem about traveling, over time zones.
Yes.
That just makes the person so uncomfortable.
Yes.
Can't sleep at the right time, waking up at odd times. How do you recommend that they wean themselves off that jet lag, so to speak?
Okay. Now, it depends on which direction you're traveling. If you're traveling westward, the implications are very minimal.
Westward is to where?
Yeah. Okay. You are going. Just look at the map. You are going towards maybe the eastern part of Africa.
Okay.
But you're going eastward, going to the U.S., to South America. Now that causes much more problems.
Okay.
Now the issue is after 2 to 3 days, you should get adjusted because you have what we call environmental cues that helps to tell your body, okay, we're in a new environment. This adjust to the sleep pattern. So we usually give 2 to 3 days. But thereafter, if you have not adjusted, then we know that you have an underlying problem with insomnia. Then that's when you have to see a physician. They can help. Now, there are various things you can do: medications, cognitive behavior therapy, and all lots of more.
Okay.
That can help.
Now, you talk a lot about sleep being very individualistic.
Yes.
And how you have to understand the particular person.
Yes.
Now, if somebody is having a bit of a problem, can the person, for example, open a book and sort of make notes about how he's been sleeping, maybe over a period of time, so that it can make some sense to him or make some sense to the physician.
In fact, that's an